So there's a chance for a diplomatic solution to the Syria crisis, but just who should get the credit? Maria Lippman, a political analyst with the Moscow Carnegie Center, joins us by Skype to discuss how much Russia has benefited from the past 24 hours.
And here with us is the Conservative MP, Dr. Phillip Lee, who voted against the government in the vote on Syria last month. Do you think you started all this, really, this move towards finding a sort of weapons inspection, disarmament solution rather than bombing?
I think my vote, I couldn't claim that I knew it walking in, but I think we caused a pause for reflection, yes. And I think I'm proud of that.
Even although it's not what David Cameron or Barack Obama wanted?
Well, I attended the debate on that Thursday, convinced that actually that any sort of small missile intervention was actually going to further exacerbate an already very complex situation. I actually was arguing and made my case quite clear to David Cameron and others that we needed to have a proper thought-through regional strategy to this, because the complexity, particularly in Syria, but you could make an argument for Jordan, for Saudi, across the entire region, the complexity of this is that we can't just make this up as we go along.
Maria Lippman, the White House spokesman urging scepticism about Russia's offer to Syria. How do Russia and Syria go about proving that this is genuine?
Well, I think it will be very hard to prove. At this point in time, we have Russia's proposal. We have Syria's commitment, so it seems. We have a statement from foreign minister in Syria who said they believe this is a good initiative. However, right now, this is nothing but words. If it gives some time to reflect, if it delays an operation that looks to exacerbate indeed the situation on the ground in Syria, anything goes. But this particular proposal sounds bizarre, coming from Russia, being seized by the United States at a time when the relations between Russia and the United States are at an all-time low.
I mean, Senator Kerry gave Russia an opening in an offhand comment he made, didn't he? I mean, the question would be, if Russia really wanted this to happen, why they didn't do it months ago?
Yes, indeed, this is just one of the questions. And actually, State Secretary John Kerry dropped this remark, which was then dismissed or almost dismissed as a rhetorical argument by the State Department. Seems like Russia seized the opportunity and has come up with this proposal, which actually doesn't cost anything to Russia. They said it works out, which would be very unlikely. Then Russia is in very good shape. It doesn't. Russia stands nothing to lose, and Russia is not in a rush, and Russia is not in a situation in which it has to take a very important decision.
Do you think this, to a certain extent, gets David Cameron off the hook, off the embarrassment of people such as yourself rebelling against him?
I'm not so sure that it's about getting him off the hook. I mean, I actually think the UK's response, humanitarian response to date, has been good, and I'm expecting it to get better. And I think that's where we should concentrate. But broadly, we have a challenge here of a messy regional conflict that is developing, Sunni Shia, the influence of Russia, of Iran, of the US, all of this playing out in front of our eyes. We desperately need a strategy that we can go back to. We cannot be reacting to emotive imagery on social media, because you can guarantee there's going to be more of it coming.
Marie, effectively, they haven't said it in so many terms, but should we really read into what Russia's saying now, that it is backing away from the rhetoric of saying we don't think it was the Syrian government forces who used this chemical weapons? I mean, now they are very much accepting that the Syrian government does, at the very least, have chemical weapons.
It can be said, of course, this proposal assumes that the Syrian government has it, but by no means does it assume that the Syrian government used it. The Russian government, Russian foreign minister did not say as much. The Syrian authorities, Syrian foreign minister did not say anything about it. I think it's very reasonable to assume that Syria has chemical weapons, especially since it's one of very few countries that did not sign an international agreement that bans the use and stockpiling of the chemical weapons. But at any time, on the issue of who did it, Russia can be evasive. Russia said that they don't believe that Syrians used it, and if asked, but now that you're making this proposal, don't you think that they did? Russia can easily say no.
And one thing you do agree on, there has to be a response to the use of chemical weapons.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't need the UN to tell me that these agents were used. You can see it in the videos. Children can't mimic these signs. A second-year medical student could tell you that. Yes, there needs to be a response, but it needs to be proper and effective.
Dr. Lee and Maria, thank you both very much indeed. Well,